Hello and welcome to the Critical Twits. Today being hosted by me, Aaron Ravinsky, and I'm joined here by
Brian Ennis.
And Colin Howard.
Last as always.
Exactly.
and also a live studio audience.
Woo!
Of 3 people. Aren't we famous? Yes, so we're going to do a little bit of a look back on the year that's been, and hopefully a look forward if we don't jabber about too much crap that we've been interested in. So, Colin or Brian, whoever wants to be. I don't know how to do this hosting thing. This is why Brian normally does it.
Yes.
What video games have you enjoyed this year? Or what particular one? Because if you steal all of them, then the rest of us...
Well, this was the problem. We did all have the same game originally.
Because we all picked the same one.
We did all pick the same one.
Yes.
Which anyone who's listened to us regularly will be able to guess. And maybe there'll be a prize in it for you if you can prove you didn't listen to the bit where we reveal it. Yeah. I don't know.
We keep offering prizes and no one ever tries to claim them.
No, I know. It's because we never actually tell them what the prize is. For all they know, we're just going to send them a bag of crap.
Define crap. God, the audience is echoing.
Things found in my shed.
Yes. If you could go back and complete any of the tasks we set you throughout the last 3 months, we will find something from Laura's shed.
So some felt.
Garden hose?
Loose nails.
Isn't felt like a haberdashery thing?
No, like roofing
No, not
felt.
roofing felt.
Shed felt.
It's really expensive. It's worth the prize.
The stuff that goes on the
Reset
top
it.
of the roof.
That's quite
The
large.
stuff
You
the
don't
rain
Felt in your shed.
Because we have a shed.
Why don't you have it on the roof?
Because it's bare felt.
And we're too short to reach the roof. So we put it underneath.
Aren't bears protected?
Aren't bears protected?
It says bear felt. It's a bit harsh.
That means there's lots of it. You're not down with the kids. Bear felt, man.
Sorry. One of my favourite games of the year was GTA 5, which makes me a complete hooligan, I understand.
Now, you're going to have to define which GTA 5, because one of them came out the year before.
Oh, yeah, okay, GTA 5, because that's what it's called.
Yes. But on what?
Oh, which platform? The PS4.
Okay.
So the next gen update of
Yes.
said game?
The slight
Yeah.
problem is I didn't play it on the previous version, so I'm not quite sure what's been updated. I know it's got more missions.
You're really excited about the cat.
Yeah.
Yes, but the cat has an unfortunate story that I don't think I should share with the internet.
You have told that story on the podcast before, and Aaron cut it out.
Oh yeah, well let's do it again because he might leave it in this time.
It's Christmas.
It's not me leaving it in this time. We have a new editor, so...
Yeah.
That's a good point. Well, what happened is in the game's very first mission where you have to play as Franklin and steal the car and drive off of it, I was learning what the controls were, and a cat walked past me. At the same time, I pressed the button for the attack, which caused me to stamp on the cat's head.
Oh, that was worth saying for this episode.
I don't think it got better. But that's fine, because after a certain amount of distance, it would have despawned, so it's okay. That's the rules.
So some new missions. Cats you can stamp on.
Yes. The best way to describe GTA is a giant toy chest. It's got little bits of everything in. There's even a mission where you get to take pictures of wildlife.
Before you stamp on it? Or afterwards? Squish cats straight to
I'm not
Instagram.
quite sure. I haven't actually done that mission.
So you like abusing the animals, but you don't like to rescue them?
If I get Peter knocking at my door, I'm blaming you, Aaron.
What's so much fun about squashing cats?
What's not fun about squashing cats?
Do you
Touche!
still get to pick up prostitutes?
Yes.
That's my favourite.
One slight problem with prostitute picking up it, none of this is staying in the fucking
No, it is
podcast.
staying in the podcast.
but-
It's important to GTA.
One bad thing about picking up prostitutes now, although you get to see everything through your window screen and it's all animated fairly nicely.
Yeah,
I
it was in
do-
the PS3 version.
Yeah, I do
Pretty-
feel sorry for the animators, but when you kill them, you don't get the exact money back.
I have seen and heard that there's a first-person view. Obviously, that wasn't
Yes,
in the
there
PS3.
is.
Have you used that?
Yes, I have.
Do the controls change? Because that's the bit that I was quite interested in.
No, however,
That feels like a pain.
It is a pain because the cover mechanics are awful with it because all you do is stare at the floor or that lovely bit of textured wall over there.
Yay,
Driving is
flooring.
practically impossible because the cars are actually about 6 foot wider than you think they are. So you're driving down, you're chasing after some bloke because I know he said your mum's fat. You're going down an alleyway, think you're going to fit, and then you end up hurling yourself through the window screen, which that is quite funny in first person mode. I'll admit that.
Excellent. So that's a really positive review of the new features.
Yeah.
I mean, I played GTA 5 when it first came out,
Yeah.
and I think I played it for about 20 hours, and then I decided that I hated everyone in it, everything they were doing, and if I never played the game again, then they'd never get to achieve their petty, sad, pathetic little goals, and therefore I won. Is it still like that?
No, because I like Trevor.
Trevor's the
one who talks.
Oh, the comedy psychopath.
Yeah. I do like a good comedy psychopath. In mine, because he has a cheap brown suit, yellow sunglasses, and a giant beard. And so everything he does is quite amusing to watch.
Excellent. I know what I'll get you for your birthday.
I always see GTA 5 as like just a slightly more realistic looking Roadrunner cartoon.
Pretty much.
Yeah, just random acts of extreme violence
Yeah.
that don't really perpetuate to real
It
life at all.
tries to be gritty and serious to begin with, and then at one time I robbed a bank and the army turned up with tanks and a battalion of troops, and I killed them all with a bulldozer. I'm not exaggerating. Literally ran them over in a bulldozer.
They do try for the serious angle and stuff. And
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as GTA 4, where you would drive to a mission and you would run over 17 people, pick up a prostitute and murder them and get the exact change because, it was a better time. It was a simpler time. Yeah, exactly. And you would get to the mission after having murdered 1 million people, and you turn up and the guy would go, I am so sad about my life. I saw these terrible things. I come here to escape the violence, but you make me do violence. And like, no, that was me. So it at least solved some of its tonal problems.
Yes,
in that it does have a ridiculously stupid, over-the-top character.
It did get back to that. It got rid of that from number 4, which was very tonally inconsistent, as we like to say.
Excellent. So that's 8 minutes of us saying why Colin's game of the year was shit.
Well, the thing with GTA and what it is.
Well, that's not one for the prize. There you go. It's your red herring.
What GTA is great at is time wasting.
Okay.
If you have an hour to kill and you can't be bothered to be serious, change your life, or help your girlfriend do the washing or whatever she's asked you to do that day, sticking on GTA, driving around, running prostitutes over in a burning truck is about as much fun you can have with any game, which is why I've enjoyed it so much.
Excellent. So, if you've ever wanted to murder prostitutes, Colin highly recommends GTA 5, now with added cat death. Aaron!
Well, no, not going to me. I'm the host. I do it last.
Sorry, I took over.
That's fine. It's instinct. I don't mind.
But
clearly, GTA 5 is not your game of the year.
Nope.
So what is yours?
Apart from the one that we're going to announce at the end. My second favourite game of the year was Sunless Sea. Have either of you played Sunless Sea?
No. Is this the one based on the same place that Fallen London takes?
It's
sort of same universe.
Yes.
Oh, then I know it. I know of it. I've never played it.
You start in the docks of Fallen London. So it's set in a London that was. Let me remember the highly complicated and very, very specific technical backstory. Picked up by bats and flown into a cave, I think is what happened to Fallen London. So it's
I can see that, yeah. There are a lot of bats in London.
Got a kind of steampunk, horror, surreal, silly feel to it.
Yeah.
Fallen London's sort of a text-based web browser game. It's got some nice pictures, but you're reading a lot of text and such like. And in Sunless Sea, you play a captain sailing the Untersee, which is kind of their speak for undersea because it's underneath.
Untersea.
Untersee.
Untersea.
The Z. Yeah, people talk about the Z, not the C. The Z.
Cockneys, that's what happens. Cockneys.
You do visit the sea, at some point in
Is
Sunless
that
Sea.
as in the letter C or the actual wibbly wobbly C?
The wibbly wobbly sea with the platypi and the salty bits.
Okay.
You get platypi in the sea?
I don't know. I've just thought
Do you get
they're
pies
a
in the
freshwater
sea?
animal, aren't they?
You get pies in the
yeah,
sea.
you get them in rivers.
Yes.
Which I suppose is big and wibbly wobbly.
Yeah, it's part of the sea. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
sea's
water.
lesser cousin.
It's kind of see-through and
Wet.
wet.
And wet. It's just less salty in a river.
And bluish.
So yeah, so you go to the Unter Z.
Yeah. So
which
it's
is the weirdest way of saying that ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on.
Yeah, so you're on the Untersee, you start and fall in London, you've got a top-down view of your ship,
Okay.
and you sail out into the sea
Excellent.
to explore. It's kind of procedurally generated, roguelike thing, so bits will change, you won't always get exactly the same bit in the same place. And
Yay.
you're there to make your fortune. You might have a specific sort of mission based on the background you choose for your character. And you go off and you visit all sorts of scary, strange places. You might run out of food and water and have to eat your crew. You might meet
It's always good.
pirates and you battle them with your cannon.
Can you eat the pirates?
Yeah.
Can you join the
okay,
pirates?
cool.
What, sorry?
Can you join the pirates?
You can become a pirate. You can attack
Excellent.
legal things and steal from them. You can encounter giant jellyfish that try to eat your ship. The places that you visit are incredibly strange and weird and
Named bizarre.
scary. Yes, yeah, very strange names. So there is a city of the golems where they are carving more of their own folk out of rock, and you might be able to pick up some of their passengers and bring them back and forth. I encountered an island run by monkey people
Of
who
course.
kidnapped one of my crewmates, and I had to go on a mission to go and save them.
Bloody monkeys.
So you've got the top-down game,
Never
and then
trust a
you've
monkey.
got, similar to Fallen London, you've got the text-based reader description, make some choices. You've got some economics there, so you might go and pick up something rare that's on the far side of the sea, the Z, and buy loads of it, bring it back, sell it. You can upgrade your ship, you can buy a bigger ship, you can join all sorts of different groups, you can join a criminal gang that get you to do dodgy things, or you can work for the Admiralty, who pay you for discovering places, and you can go mad and throw yourself into the sea.
Oh, brilliant.
You can go mad and eat your entire crew. You can go mad and just drift forever.
Oh, well, that sounds pleasant.
Cheery.
I have died many times in the game. You can then carry on. You pass what you've done down onto your descendants, so to a child or to a nephew. If you're really good, you might save up the resources to be able to make a will, which means they get everything. Otherwise, they'll just get like the dregs and a rubbish ship. So if you've got nice stuff, you need to make sure it gets passed on. Really good fun. Whiled away some time.
Yeah, sounds quite nice. Sounds like Elite, but with
Ships.
Cthulhu and ships.
Yes.
Well,
Or
Elite had
FTL.
ships, but
Or similar to FTL, which has similar principles.
Yeah.
yes, actually, yeah.
FTL.
So that's quite good.
Really enjoyed it. Really liked its kind of quirky, odd, a little bit more horrific and dark than other things like FTL and Elite, which seem to be quite. Oh, isn't this nice? Ooh.
Yes.
Well-
all space.
Yeah, I say Elite just didn't really have much in the way of
No.
stuff going on, talkie-wise and stuff. But yeah, no, sounds good. Because Fallen London, I really enjoyed the writing and stuff, and it was very good.
Yes, and the writing is incredible in Sunless Sea. So heartily recommend that if you want a game like that to play.
So you like
Excellent.
sailors in the dark.
If you like Sailors in the Dark,
Yeah.
there's all sorts of things you can do if you like Sailors in the Dark.
That's all sorts of places. you
Also
can go.
involves eating them.
In London as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So that brings us on to the one that everybody picked.
No, you're runner-up.
My runner-up. Did I pick a runner-up?
We all picked a runner-up.
I can't remember picking a runner-up. It's not been written down, so it's never
You
going
said
to... You can tell me what it was, and then I'll go,
Metal
oh
Gear
yeah.
Solid 5.
I did say Metal Gear Solid 5, didn't I?
did.
Why do I keep forgetting about this? Is why it's not my game of the year. Why it's my
Obviously
runner-up,
not,
because
because
we can't remember it.
We talked about it in one of our very first podcasts, but
Yeah.
we were all a bit undecided.
We
And
played a
then
little bit of it and stuff.
You played it, and I played it. You didn't bother, did you, Colin?
No, because I
Got better things to do with his time by murdering prostitutes and
Stamping
less
on
of
cats.
that.
Yeah.
The whole plot seems completely mad.
It is mad. But as I explained when we spoke about it before, I like the fact it's absolutely bonkers.
Is it?
The only one gripe I do have with it is that it's not as coherent, and this sounds bizarre, as previous games have been.
Well, that's not helping me at all.
It's because they've not bothered. I like the explanations for why things are like that.
In the old games, they'd come up with something incredibly insane that didn't make any sense,
Yeah.
but then they'd follow through, and
Yeah.
they'd be like, the consequences of this incredibly crazy thing happening would be this, and this. Whereas in this one, they just seem to go, here's a crazy thing from one of the old games, look, it's there, and then they move on.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fan service.
Yes.
I don't know why I said it like
Well,
that.
is it the last Metal Gear game?
It's supposed to be.
They've already announced. Have they not announced they're doing another one?
I think
Am
Konami announced
hallucinating?
afterwards, but Hideo Kojima said it was supposed to be. It was the last one he wanted to do,
Yeah,
as far as he was concerned.
Poor sad Hideo Kojima.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
no.
You're doing it again.
Yes,
We talked about this.
again. I don't know why everyone's in love with Hideo Kojima. He can't write games.
You haven't played any of his games,
No.
therefore you can't cast judgment on his game.
There is a woman who is half naked, and the excuse for him
Yes.
was because she photosynthesizes.
Yeah. Now-
that is to me is something that a 10-year-old would say.
Have you ever seen a tree wearing a jumper?
Yes.
Yeah, I have actually.
Wow!
No, it's a thing.
What a
they
put-down.
do is
It's a thing!
No, yeah. What they've done, there's this group that goes around. I think it's in New York, obviously.
Putting the trees round, putting the
Woman.
clothes around the trees so
Woman.
homeless people aren't cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also
Check your
there's
privilege.
another group that.
But they put clothes on the tree so homeless people aren't cold.
Well, it's
Yeah,
not
You're
it's
homeless.
suggesting that homeless
leaving-
people are trees.
You know, they donate
Hanging them,
clothes.
but they
you
pay.
donate your old clothes by hanging them around the city, and then homeless people can come and take said clothes.
Aren't they not just dangling from the tree? They're not actually
Yeah.
wearing it.
No, which is what brings me on to my next one.
Okay.
Whereas there's another group that knits what look like woolen jumpers as an art piece for trees,
Right.
which they put on in various parks that have got they've had attacks and various negative things happen around it.
Okay.
Because it seems to have anyway, mostly because it seems daft and silly to be there, has reduced the crime levels and stuff. So they did it as a kind of. It's supposed to be based on that piece of research that said that if an area is clean and tidy, people are less likely to commit crimes and do that kind of thing because they want to keep the area upkept.
Yeah. It's also
Supposedly.
really hard to kick someone's head in when you're too busy laughing at a tree with a
bright
jumper on.
tree, yeah.
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 And yet it still makes more sense than a woman that photosynthesizes.
Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. I will concede.
Is that specifically because she's a woman, Colin?
If there's a man running
I don't
around
know. I don't
naked-
see her as a woman. I just see her as a person, Brian.
What gets me?
Chop.
God damn it, Connor! I'm trying to take it seriously. No. Yeah, no, I'll concede that is ridiculous. I mean, Farscape
Right.
had a woman on it who was a plant.
Yes,
Woman.
but she looked like
She
a plant.
looks like a plant.
And
thing.
therefore
she
I
didn't
went-
take all her clothes off all the time, just sometimes when she needed to regenerate, and then it was
And that
kind of
makes
done
sense because she looks
privately
like a
away
plant.
from
When
things.
she wanted
This
to,
woman did not look like a plant.
when she wanted to have sex, did she like go and get a basket full of bees?
And what was with the moment in the game where if you don't have a wash for about a week and that girl likes you enough, she'll join you in a shower scene?
I don't know.
Is
I
that
haven't-
really
I haven't seen that
necessary?
because I wash him regularly. Because it's important. It regenerates health and vitality.
yeah.
If he's not washed regularly enough, he gets tired and fatigued. Apparently, a good shower is all you need to keep going.
It's not immersion.
I'm
making
wondering
my
if-
character shower.
I'm wondering if that was introduced by Konami to try and show to their staff, like, look, we keep telling you all you need to do is go for a shower and you can
Well-
work 24 hours a day and you're
Yeah.
fine.
Konami have shown themselves to be rather suspect. Have you seen all the? You're looking at me like I'm insane.
No, you're not. I've probably heard
Some of
it,
the
like
decisions they've announced, was it this year,
Well,
have been mad.
The way they've been treating their employees and
Yeah.
such like has been in the news.
Yeah.
So well done, Aaron, for nominating something crafted by the hands of evil.
Okay, well, this leads us on to the
What if you
reason why
asked
it's the runner-up rather than the actual game.
To be honest, my game was made by the Scottish. So.
I love the fact that, Colin, you've just said why GTA is rubbish. Aaron, you've just said why Metal Gear Solid is rubbish.
I'm trying to defend it against its rubbishness, but yeah.
Admit it, you've only played 2 games this year. That's why it's your runner-up.
So what's our actual favourite game of the year that we aren't going to slag off, I hope.
So in joint second place, we've got Sunless Sea.
Yeah.
We've got Cat Stamping Simulator 5.
Yeah.
And we've got Misogyny Chlorophyll Solid 5 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. That's fun.
Excellent.
Cool. Bloodborne! It's our number 1 game of the year.
Huzzah!
What a delay.
Yes.
Why?
Why is it our number 1 game of the year? Because it's one of the few games I've ever come back to after a 6-month period. I completed it.
Yeah.
Which again is rare in itself.
Yeah.
Because it kept my attention for that entire time. I've come back to it and I'm still enjoying it. The systems run fluidly. The story was intriguing. It was difficult enough to pose a challenge without making me want to cry, run away, and quit like Dark Souls did. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I've gone past that point now on Dark Souls. I'm actually past it. Actually, this is quite a good game. Not while I was such a baby, but it's because Bloodborne gave me the confidence to do it.
So are you saying it's Dark Souls with training wheels? Dark Souls Light. I can't believe it's not Dark Souls. 25% reduced challenge Dark Souls.
Dark Souls challenge.
I've got hundreds of these. I can keep going.
No, it's fine. You go for it.
Dark Souls Junior Edition. My very first Dark Souls. The pop-up I Spy book of Dark Souls.
No, it wouldn't work.
No, I've kind of gone off topic now.
Anyway, but yes, it is.
Grey Souls.
Dark Souls for Dummies.
Oh, that's good. We need the audience every week.
But yes, fair enough. It is a little bit Dark Souls light. A lot of the things are a bit obtuse or there were too much of the way of options and stuff in Dark Souls that scared off crapper players like myself, meant that it had been either taken away or cleaned up a little bit, so it was a bit more fluid.
We only had 10 weapon selection and very few choices of armour. The armour couldn't be upgraded, so there was no messing around with that.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, now I've completed it, I would like more of that. That makes sense. I would like that to have been added in on the DLC, which I haven't seen. I like the fact there's more weapons and stuff come into it and things like that.
Yes.
But, and I like the fact that combat was a lot faster paced. Don't get me wrong, I like how in Dark Souls it's all very, you make a mistake, you're going to pay for it.
It's much, much slower though.
Yeah, but it's playing it back recently, it's only because of an appreciation of the difficulty and things like that that's keeping me going through. But the actual pace of it is a little sluggish from my perspective.
Okay.
Now, because I've gotten used to a bit quicker gameplay and things like that. And,
yeah.
Things.
We're very negative today.
We are very
Play
negative.
Bloodborne because Dark Souls is slow.
But it's very pretty.
Oh, it's incredibly shiny.
Yeah. It's nice to have a Victorian game.
Yes.
That's actually a Victorian game and not Order 1886, which is a SPS hiding behind a Victorian setting.
Yeah.
Order 1886 sounds like an email you'd get from a website when you purchase something.
Probably, yes.
That was a terrible.
That was awful.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, that is factually correct.
Oh, yeah.
Good job you can edit it out.
Yeah, no, I believe that in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on a loop at the beginning. That could be my shitty thing I put at the beginning. Order 1886. I think so now.
But yeah, no, I see what your point is. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit more. It's steampunky again. We seem to have picked at least two kind of steampunky.
Is it really steampunky?
It kind of falls under.
Well,
No,
my character's got purple goggles on.
Yeah,
Does
but
that
it's
count?
goggles.
they're using a lot of
You lose.
kind of the mechanical aspects that didn't really exist in the Victorian time.
Yeah, like
and
the
stuff.
stake driver.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. I didn't. really look at any of that stuff because I found my weapon really early and stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and a cane that turns into a whip is not very Victorian. Well, it's very Victorian, but it's very fancy Victorian.
So, yes, Bloodborne, we like the challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks shiny.
Yes. It
Yeah.
does look very shiny.
And we all came back to it because of the DLC.
Yes.
Yeah, and have enjoyed it coming back to it.
Yes.
Yeah, I only played a couple of hours, but it's probably the most fun I had on the PlayStation since completing Bloodborne the first time.
So I've gone back and played another 10 hours of it so I can actually take on the DLC, and I haven't felt that was a chore. I've gone back and gone, oh, this is quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike, again, to mock on Dark Souls, but with Dark Souls, once you got your stats to 40, that was about all you could do with them. After then, your stats would only rise incrementally.
So leveling obviously pointless.
Yeah, leveling up past 40 was really pointless. But in Bloodborne, your stats go up the same that they did, so it's not... Although you can't get your weapons any higher plus 10, you can still make your character better.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that you could probably get through New Game Plus and then carry on, because as long as you keep getting the blood echoes to level up. Whereas in Dark Souls, I hit a brick wall and my character can't get any better.
Yeah.
That means you need to get better.
Yeah, he said that
Parry
last time.
boy.
I can't parry everything in Dark Souls.
I learned how to parry like a week ago.
You did, yeah. And you were very excited about that, as you should be.
I was, yeah, because I've been using the gun that's no good for parrying, rather than the gun that's really good for parrying. And kind of, I felt like I'd tapped into easy mode, but whatever, guys.
Oh, did you?
Well,
Yeah. Well, that was kind of we really built to a crescendo. Yeah.
well, this goes on to the next question I was going to ask, because you've written something down this sheet of paper that kind of fits. Are we dull?
Are we dull?
Well, because we picked games that are a bit meh. Everybody's kind of gone, yeah, these are good, and not really added anything new to the forum.
Well, I suppose...
Sunless Sea was new. I
Yeah, it
deliberately
was new, yeah,
picked
but
that.
people have talked about it as being quite good and stuff like that. And yours was most interesting, to be fair.
Is
out of
it
the ones
dull
we
to
picked.
say a good game is good?
No, I just
You've got two. Is Bloodborne a AAA game?
yeah, technically.
Yeah. So we've
It's one
got
of the not one. No, it wasn't one of the launch titles. Was it one?
MGS, GTA,
No.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, which mostly picked.
It seems to have been the year of the really, really, really pointlessly big open world game.
Yes.
Bloodborne, I think, has been a nice exception.
Well, unfortunately, that's the model standard now. Whereas once it used to be your FPS as your standard or your third-person shooter, now we're making a game. Well, it's got to be an open world. Everything's open world. Everything's gone open world.
There's got to be a million and one things to collect and everything else.
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing lots and lots of Fallout 4. There's GTA 5 that they've released again.
Yeah.
You've
Mad Max.
got Mad Max, The Witcher.
Yeah.
The Witcher, yeah.
Far Cry.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Woo!
No.
One Assassin's Creed fan.
There was only one good Assassin's Creed.
Came here by travelling in time. From when it was good. Assassin's Creed 2 was good.
No, Assassin's Creed 4 was good. Everything else was rubbish.
No.
Fight!
Audience disagreement.
That's because the audience are wrong. Okay, I'll say this about 4, which is my favourite Assassin's Creed, because it wasn't being an Assassin's Creed game. That's why I enjoyed it.
Well, see, I really like the Assassin's Creed series, and
That's a bit
I
like
still haven't finished Unity yet, because it started dragging for me, even though the character is much more interesting off the get-go.
Yeah. It just sounds like, when you say it's your favourite Assassin's Creed game because it's nothing like Assassin's Creed, it'd be like, I remember that time I had a really good salad. It was made of biscuits and cake.
I would say that
Was it really a salad? Well, I put it in a bowl.
If it's marketed as a salad, then it's a salad. Yeah.
I put some dressing on it. Croutons.
Croutons and biscuits. No, you've ruined it now.
I say croutons, I meant jelly tots. No?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Too surreal. Okay, so we all enjoyed Bloodborne. I was very mixed on Metal Gear Solid, just to go back. Was it that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I played it for about 12 hours and got really bored.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even get the dog to grow up.
You didn't even get to the point where
the dog was. I got the dog. It was a puppy,
Yeah.
and I kept coming back to the base, and it would kind of lick me. And every time I saw it, I thought, I better not let Colin round. He's going to kick it off my orb. And I just
wanted to try it.
I think I got 5% complete.
Okay.
And it just started to feel really samey really quickly. It's like I'd done loads of stuff.
I mean,
Were you doing a lot of-
heard that it was when you get to a point where you've unlocked so much stuff and half of it's pointless.
Yeah,
You unlock 17 ways of doing.
I've got
one
45 assault rifles, but I'm going to take that one because it's the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
44
I mean, I heard
other things that I don't need.
like Zero Punctuation, when he did a review on it, he spoke of you could make distraction sounds over here, you could get an inflatable doll over there to distract guards, and actually all you really need to do is throw an empty ammo clip in front of him so he turns around and then punch him in the back of the head.
Yeah. It has lost its. That's what I mean. It's lost its way from previous ones a little bit, but it's because they try to go for a more
Crafting
open
system.
experience.
No, they want
of
crafting
things.
systems because everything has
yeah.
to have a crafting system.
Did it need to be an open world game? Have they not just fallen victim to 2015 itis where everything's...
Well, they wanted an open world game at the very beginning.
Yeah, I think it does work.
Metal Gear
for
was
it.
always supposed to be an open world game, but technology.
See, the unfortunate problem is you go from one main mission and then you get in the helicopter, which then takes you to a loading screen for you to get to the next mission, to then go back to that same open world.
Yes.
You get detached from it too often.
It's bitty.
Yeah.
That's because
So
he
it could
wants
have
to
really-
make movies.
Yeah, and the movies are fairly entertaining most of the time. I mean, we'll give exception to Metal Gear Solid 4's a drag because there's just too much of it.
Too much.
times, but-
Does that something to do with the 90-minute cutscenes by any chance?
Yes, a little bit, but it's, developers get big heads and it doesn't always work properly and stuff like this, but Metal Gear Solid 5 reduced a lot of that. If you want to listen to the story, it's all on tapes pretty much now. You get a few shorter cutscenes, including some ridiculous ones, with the don't hold a gun like that.
Yes. We don't fire automatic, semi-automatics as if they were revolvers, because they're different types. This man is a genius. He knows everything about guns. I predict in the future he will die in a battle with
Now,
someone
take into
without a
account,
gun.
this is a man you've strapped to a food and delivery device, which is basically a big balloon that shoots him off in the sky.
Yeah,
to
he
attach
does
to a
realise
chair.
that doesn't
He might be
work.
brain damaged, so he can remember revolver guns and gone, maybe I can do that, because he's not as well as he was before. And so he needs retraining because he's hurt. You've just mocked a poor mentally ill man.
He's not real, first of all. And B, what?
I don't know.
Confused. Why are we?
If that guy's meant to be in my art, I appreciate that Revolver Ocelot knows how. He's like he's meant to be this like mythical gunslinging guy, but he's not like imparting any knowledge that people don't already know. It's like Gordon Ramsay coming in and saying, "You eating a cheeseburger? Have you tried putting ketchup in it? It's lovely."
Isn't that his whole career?
No, he talks about foie gras and rack
Just
of
uses
lamb.
fancy names for
Putting
going.
ketchup on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Have
he
you
called
seen
it
that meat properly? Well, even I know what searing meat is, and I can't cook.
Searing meat would be a good Metal Gear Solid code name.
It would
wouldn't
actually, yeah.
Do you know what? It would, yes.
So, we're now going to move on to our favourite board games of the year.
Way! Woo!
The audience wasn't particularly interested, but thank you, Brian. That was much appreciated.
It's fine.
So, do you want to go first? For your favourite game of the year? No, yes, we did have one member of the audience who was quite happy about it, but
Yeah, I
Someone's opened up.
Let it go.
this is the reaction I get whenever I tell people I play board games.
what, 2 minutes of
These are
awkward
really
nothingness.
interesting. This is one where you build train lines.
Just trains.
Yeah. I do like Just Train.
Just Trains is amazing,
Just Trains
but you
is
can't
good.
explain it to somebody. I actually genuinely,
Didn't I
took
win
somebody.
Just Trains?
Yes, you've
I
won it
like
several
Just
times.
Trains.
I took somebody to a gaming store in Peterborough to show around a selection of games she wanted to play with her husband because she'd gotten quite interested. She played Cards Against Humanity, really liked it.
Yeah, cool.
And I picked up
Trains.
Trains, Just
Right.
Trains.
Which is, for people at home,
I don't actually know what it's called. I forgot what
Right.
it's called.
It's Ticket to
Ticket to
Ride.
Ride.
Ticket to Ride. I was going to say Ride to Hell, but that's an entirely different
Yeah.
game that we
Just
don't
ask the audience.
Called it Just Train so often, I've completely forgotten. Yeah, no, Ticket to Ride. So I showed her Ticket to Ride, and her eyes just glazed over. And she kind of went, "Why am I here?" And I was like, "No, genuinely, it's a really fun game. You've just got to get past the fact it's just trains." And she looked at me just beyond gone out, like I'd shat in a cup of coffee.
The thing is, I mean, it's one of the most popular games that's out there. It's really easy to pick up, really competitive once you get into it.
It's brilliant.
It's a really, really good game.
There is something very rewarding about completing a train line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good game, but the theming holds absolutely no interest for me.
No.
And when the first member of our group to pick up Ticket to Ride picked it up and tried to get us to play it, the moment he said, "You build train lines," I glazed over, wondered why I was here, hit him over the head, put him in the boot of my car, drove him to somewhere very, very quiet and secluded, and told him if he ever tried to do that again, then Uncle Vinny would come around and have a word.
Just off the A14, second junction.
May have been watching too many gangster films.
Well, we see why Brian doesn't like GTA 5 anymore. Too much of an influence.
Yeah, it's not realistic enough.
So, Brian, what's your favourite non-gangster themed board game
Non-gangster themed. Oh, there goes Mafia de Cuba. Shucks.
that we've played the entire once?
Yes, and I enjoyed it so much. No,
It was very good, but
my favourite game of the year. I mean, we've played loads and loads of really good games. It's quite hard to nail down any one particular game. I think the game that has surprised and delighted me the most, and that I'm most eager to get back to playing and want to play again, is Pandemic Legacy.
Yeah.
Pressure.
What's particularly about it is the reason why you picked it as your favourite game. Because I know, as a group, we don't tend to lean towards cooperative games because we're mean to each other, as a general rule.
Yes.
Whereas this one you can't be. So, what particularly is it about that you adore?
Adore. Ooh, that's a strong word.
Is it the?
It sounds like I tried to make love to it.
It was a bit sticky last time we opened this board.
Have you ever made love to a beautiful board game? Have you ever shuffled its cards?
I've been 13, Brian. Yeah,
Arranged its.
No, this is why we're not allowed to play Warhammer Quest in my house anymore.
Is that why your your Minotaur looks particularly shocked? You've seen some things, man. You've seen some stuff.
No,
It's not a club he's holding anymore, it got shaved down.
Well, I died inside a little then.
You died, I saw the model.
I was sick in my mouth.
It's handled it. So, why is Pandemic Legacy your favourite game of the year?
I think it's because we enjoyed Risk Legacy,
Yes.
which we've talked about in a small amount of detail. I like the idea of something that crosses a board game with that kind of campaign feel that you get from RPGs.
Yeah.
So you've got, whenever you play a board game, you open up and it's the same every time. And that can be nice, that can be comforting, especially if you're you're introducing someone new to a new game or to the hobby, as you have failed to do.
Yes, yeah.
Taking people to local gaming stores and upsetting them.
So I made it up to them by giving all my games to her for a while to borrow.
What did you say? That's a really harsh punishment.
I'm sorry, take everything. Please, like the systems.
I'm so sorry. Have all my fun.
All of it.
So what you're saying
It
is you
had to be
lost Black
fruit.
Rose.
No, I kept Black Rose. That nearly 3 people short 2-player games, so there's a legitimate reason for not giving that away and let somebody else play it before we have.
It's not a 3-player game, I've read the rules.
Yeah.
It can be really nice if a game is the same every time, especially if you're introducing someone new or you want something quick and easy to do.
Yeah.
But I really like the way it changes. Risk Legacy had that sort of, we've opened a new box, we've opened a new envelope, there's something new, there's something shiny, there's a new mechanic.
Yes.
But it was a bit wonky, and at its core it was still Risk, which we wouldn't play if it wasn't Risk Legacy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not the best game. It's a classic game.
Yeah.
But things have moved on a lot.
So Snakes and Ladders, but we wouldn't play that either.
Snakes and Ladders Legacy. Snakes
The ladders move and the
Legacy.
snakes evolve.
Yes.
They do, and then by the end of it, you've got stairs and monkeys. No.
Yes, copyright critical twits.
Yes.
Snakes with rungs.
Yeah. Pandemic is a good game. I like Pandemic.
Yeah.
I'd be more likely to play it.
Love Pandemic.
But it's the same thing every time.
Yeah.
The
mechanics of things.
And you've got sort of random chance of things being slightly different, but the mechanics are there. They've evolved it. They've taken it to the next level. There's loads of really cool stuff that happens. We've kind of been forging our own story.
Yes.
As we've gone. So we've got my overworked generalist, who I decided was an intern.
Yeah.
We gave everyone comedy names. We've done all sorts of, we've gotten into what we're doing.
Yeah.
Probably far more than we should. And it's nice to have that story going along with playing the game.
Yeah.
And it's nice to sit with the same people and play the same thing and have it change and evolve. So it's got that nice... It feels a bit like it's bringing some of the joy of the RPG campaign.
Yes,
the long form stuff into the board games as well. So it's it feels to me like a nice hybrid of the two.
It does remind me a lot actually of playing the old Warhammer Quest campaigns and stuff, because we used to have characters that came back over and over again and develop stories and stuff.
You level up and keep treasure and things like that.
Visit the towns and develop story stuff. You're still in essence playing a board game version of something.
Yeah.
But you kept coming back to the same thing over and over again. It's reminding me that a lot of that is it's nice to come back to something that's similar, but it's changed enough between each game to be a new challenge and keep your interest and things like that.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Colin, because I could change the order and be the next one.
I'm quite happy to go. My game of the year is Mysterium, if only because Rob got dressed up and looked like a ghost.
Yes.
Mysterium, very much like... Damn, completely forgotten.
Dixit.
Yes, very much like Dixit. You have cue cards and you have to try and make a connection towards them. It's essentially Cluedo from the perspective of the dead person.
Yeah.
You are doing holding a seance in the house.
Which you do or do not have to do authentically, it's fine.
Yeah, you get bonus points for dressing up, if only from your friends and family.
Just like in real life.
Yeah, exactly. You place down cards and you hope to eventually lead the rest of the players to conclude who actually did kill you and where they killed you and what with.
Yeah.
So it is Cluedo from the point of view of the ghost.
Without the board and the pointless roll and move, the ghost hands out from a selection of cards, clues, and you work your way up. And really good. We've perfected the art of being the ghost and not talking and knocking.
Yeah. Try not to look infuriated as the clues you've given have taken people on a completely different track to what you thought it would take them on.
Or the person has said the correct thing and then gone, nah, that doesn't sound right at all.
Yeah. Or when somebody goes, or I think it's this and it's right, and then goes, but I don't think they think like that, and then changes their answer completely, and you think, no, you know me better than you think you do.
Yes, I've played both sides. I've been the ghost, I've been one of the seances.
Yeah,
scientists. One of the living. Thank you, Rob. Been one of the living as well as the ghost, and very different gaming perspective from each side. A bit like when you play Dixit and you're the person giving the clue, you've got to think in a slightly different way.
Yeah,
same again with Code Names, which is another good game that I've enjoyed this year.
Favourite one of our audience here.
Yeah, which is different, again, based on whether you're giving the clues or whether you're receiving the clues.
Yeah.
But 10 times as much when you're frustratedly trying to point someone towards, it's Colonel Mustard in the drawing room with the musket, and they're going, it must be that French-looking woman.
You also have
and you're like, no, I've given you yellow cards and he's the only yellow one.
Yeah.
And you're going, this card has a fish in the corner and she's on a boat. It must be her. And you're like, I didn't even see the fish. What's going on?
It's a game you need to play with a group that you know well. I mean, for example...
No, it's funnier to do the opposite.
Well, it's funnier to do the opposite, but...
Infuriating.
It's when we were saying when Rob was the dead ghostly person, we all went, right, Rob looks at details, we will look at that small fish in the corner, and that will be correct. And then with other players, we're going, right, they're idiots, therefore don't look at the colour of the card, because that's about as much as they can
Colin, that was
understand.
you.
Yes, it was.
I was about to get very indignant and ask which one of us you thought was an idiot, but it's you, and I agree. Moving on.
I like colours. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
What about shapes? You a big fan of shapes?
Never got the hang of them. Can never get that triangle into the circle bit.
No.
No.
Sad for you.
Wow.
Yeah, so Mysterium. Yeah, I enjoyed that. You enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it as well.
Audience?
Everybody I've introduced
played?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been nodding's no good.
Yes.
Even borrowed it to go and play with other people as well.
You have other friends.
Wouldn't go that far.
Fantastic.
Tolerated.
Yes, that's what we like.
That's it. Mock our audience, Colin. Well done.
Excellent. So yes, Mysterium and
My favourite game of the year, which I'm hoping Brian isn't going to reveal is not from this year, is Portal, the uncooperative cake game, cake acquisition game, I should say.
yes.
The uncooperative cake acquisition
Acquisition game.
game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Smooth guys, like
Yeah.
jazz.
We're good at words. We're good at this.
The box is right over there as well. I probably could have just leaned over and saw it, but no.
You could have
I'd
just
rather
read
stumble
straight
over my
from
words.
the box, in
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
Came out in October. There you go.
Yay! So it is new this year.
Yay.
Quite new this year as well.
Excellent.
So it's a competitive game where you play the test subjects and you're attempting to get cake onto a moving conveyor belt. It's the essence of different platforms. And you win the game by not having any of your test subjects left on and the most pieces of cake left.
Well, someone else could lose all their test subjects.
Oh, as long as, yes, so
So-
somebody loses their test subjects.
If you've got the most cake, you can win by either wiping all your own test subjects out or killing all the
Everybody
test
else's.
subjects of someone else.
Yeah.
It has lots of wacky abilities and cards you can play, and you can fire portal guns. So those familiar with the game, which is most people,
Yeah.
where you can travel through holes in space and time and travel from one end to the other. You've got
An incinerator where you can incinerate other people's cakes.
Which is
or
my
yours accidentally.
Or
best,
yours
best
accidentally.
bit of the game. Absolutely best bit of the game. So as things get towards the end of the board, they essentially go into the incinerator. So the piece at the end of the board, you'll get that person back, but they basically get incinerated.
Yeah, their reward for completing that test chamber and earning you the reward is to be disposed of.
Yeah. And any cake that any player has got on that end piece that goes off and down goes in a little incinerator piece or in the box where they can't get at it ever again until they play the game again. And it's nice to, and once they're gone, that's it. You can't get them back. That's it.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice to annoy people with that.
Last time we played, I raced ahead and then ended up with nearly all my cake incinerated.
Yeah, because we punish you for racing ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stop playing well, and this won't happen.
It's Mario Kart syndrome.
This is exactly
You
what's
become
gonna,
the target.
Yes. This is what's going to happen to you with Malifaux.
Okay.
You're doing so well. You're beating
you've raced
everybody.
ahead.
And now we're all going to develop teams that are going to absolutely trounce all over
Everything we buy will be to beat your team.
No, because I've got so many different models that
Right.
there's no. If you buy loads, you get loads of stuff. For instance, I smashed Aaron to pieces with Pandora, who works by making you cry slowly in a corner until you die from it.
I have you know, I
Pandora
wasn't
and
crying.
the
I was
Teddy.
having a temper tantrum.
You actually did. You had a proper hissy
I
fit.
really had it. I was really angry.
This is how I get my friends to play games, by making them sad.
I rescind what I said about the Malifaux starter set being nice. It's crap. I hate it.
Since
I don't.
then,
I bought
though,
more.
Since then, Aaron's gone and bought models to try and trounce you.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'll just play a completely different set. I'll fight you with Von Chill.
Yeah.
Didn't we decide petrol for Brian's army, though?
Yes. Yeah. I think we did. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm sad now. All those hours wasted being your friends.
What, you're both of his friends?
Yes. So Portal, is it anything like the game, the video game?
No, it's just kind of themed on it. To be honest, you could have themed it as something different and would have worked.
It's kind of mean and horrible and has some of the humour.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, it's got the black sense.
Colin
of
likes
humour.
the box.
I like the box.
I like the
like
box.
the fact that the cake all fits together.
Yes, that's always nice.
Oh yeah, you ate pieces
Yeah, 8
of plastic
pieces of
cake.
cake.
Do you know the best thing about board games? From my point of view, the boxes.
Yes, we
How
just
they all slot together
Yeah.
and all the equipment goes back in. So I love Pandemic with the little Petri dishes and the little disease cubes.
this is why I like Portal, because we've talked about how sexual these boxes can be at times when everything slots in the slots just right, and there's something quite satisfying about putting a piece of cake in a hole. Is that humorous enough for you?
Waka waka. Hey. I have no idea what's happening.
Should we stop?
I was offering up a valid point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's just that we then failed to do anything with that point.
Well, no, I did something with it. I'm not saying it was any good. At least I tried. She gave us a good point. I ran with it. You guys just laughed at my ineptitude.
So you fumbled.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what are we looking forward to next year?
Well, I really want to play the Mutant expansion.
Yeah. Don't know what it's called.
Nor do I, but it's the Blue Ocean bit. It's Waterworld.
It's
Yeah.
Zone Compendium 2.
Deep Blue
Zone
Sea, isn't it?
It's catchy.
Is it
Dead Blue Sea.
Dead Blue Sea? I knew it was something catchy like that, yes. But yes, I'm looking forward to Dead Blue Sea, the second Mutant Compendium. Mainly because I like Waterworld.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the main reason. There you go. I like the film Waterworld, and I want to play that as a game, as a role play. I also remember most of my fond memories of playing Mutant are the fact that we kept drowning.
Yes.
Playing in a giant ocean just seems like the next progressive step.
What's really ridiculous is at least 2 of the characters have been amphibious, and
both
we've still
nearly
had
drowned.
and we still had them nearly drowned. So, yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that because I'd like to see how they cope with swimming. Because, I mean, I know the mechanic for it in the game isn't exactly that hard, but we apparently can't do it.
Yeah.
So we might be completely boat bound, which
Yeah.
Should be
might
quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's quite good if you're the default setting. It's a Swedish game. Sweden, there's lots of water about, from what
Yes.
I've seen on the internet.
On maps and things, yeah.
And when I read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo
Yeah.
and the other ones,
Did
there's-
mention water a lot?
well, there's a lot of bridges. So
Oh, okay.
I assumed they were bridges over water and not just slums full of the unemployed. It's a socialist utopia. They wouldn't have that. What the fuck am I saying? Yes, so it's a Swedish game. So there's lots of islands. Quite coastal nation.
Yeah.
We've set our game in London,
Yeah.
which is not near the sea.
No, but
No.
it could be after a nuclear apocalypse.
Yeah, no, that's a point.
Which caused land masses to fall, the oceans to rise because of global warming, and we have Waterworld.
I've just worked
I'm
out.
now looking smug.
No.
Smug.
No. I've just worked out how to fit it into our game, but I don't want to say anything.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because it'd ruin the surprise for you. But yes, I can fit that into our game. That's fine.
Brilliant.
Ooh,
There
excellent.
you go. Cool.
And we may have
look forward
to.
that as well.
Because we don't have an arc anymore.
Yeah.
People.
We do. It would just have been assaulted by pirates while we're dead in the tank.
That's true.
You're all dead. I killed you all last session. It's fine.
You can't kill Husk. It doesn't work.
Oh, no, he's dead.
Slaves are too hard.
The more you protest, the more I have to kill him. So, yeah, you're looking forward to the expansion. I'm doing your job.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to the expansion for Mutant.
Yeah.
Shit it did.
What are you looking forward to playing?
What I'm looking forward to playing, Deus Ex. Mankind Divided.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what the thing you're looking forward to most?
Yeah, actually, genuinely is. I really, really like the Deus Ex series, even 2, which was a bit of a flop. But I really enjoyed the last game.
Cool.
It had its problems with the bosses and things like that, admittedly.
Yeah.
But they did release an update about 6 months later for the PC version and stuff, like a mod thing you could download as a separate game.
Oh, okay. Solved that.
Yeah, that gave you the options of the very first Deus Ex you used to do, where you could sneak around bosses or you could do stuff.
didn't have to go in and
set sentry
shoot
bots
it
on them.
repeatedly.
Yeah.
Did you actually then do that? Did you play it through, taking advantage of this mod that many, many people called for?
I have not, no.
I don't think anyone did.
No?
My pet theory is people realised that you could play like that.
Yeah.
Did anyone out there, you people out there in the wide world, still with hope and joy in your souls, did you do that? Because I think it was just something for people to whinge about.
Well, the internet does like to moan about things.
Yeah, I think it was a storm in a teacup, storm over nothing.
So how do you defeat the boss in a non-violent action?
In the Deus Ex world, admittedly, some of these non-violent options were still quite violent. They're just violent in a different way.
Yes.
So you could hack machines to
Shoot them for you.
to trap them in rooms. You could sneak past some of them.
Trap them in rooms.
Lock the doors. That's not violent. That's up to them if they want to be violent about it afterwards. The doors theoretically being unlocked before they starve to death.
Okay.
You used to be able to sneak in the vents round certain bosses in some sections. You could talk your way out of some of them if you had invested your skills in the right areas. And that was the bugbear with the last Deus Ex game, that you could invest in these skills that would allow you to do those things. But when you came to the bosses where you might have pulled back on your combat effectiveness to do these other things, you were struggling a great deal with the actual boss fights.
Yeah.
Because you weren't able to beat them in a normal
Okay.
So it's a similar problem people had with Alpha Protocol and things like that. You had to build certain characters in particular ways early on to be able to do, in essence, the tutorial bits, but then the rest of it was amazing and expansive.
See, Alpha Protocol, I really wanted to be like some kind of ninja, and if you didn't take all the gun skills, the game was really, really, really hard.
Yeah, not impossible though. As long as you were invested in a particular martial, some sort of combative skill.
Yeah,
particularly, you had to make sure you're always investing in your combat skill to some extent because it did force you in certain
I suppose
sections.
it's similar to Morrowind. Or
Once you had the
Elder
first
Scrolls
once you had
series.
2/3.
Yes,
Two-thirds of the martial arts was enough to take anyone down at a really level.
Yeah. So
I went through several without firing any shots.
Yeah. So it is quite possible. And again, it's the same with the last Deus Ex. It was quite possible. It was very, very difficult and clearly not marketed towards that perspective. Whereas Alpha Protocol was just not quite thought of properly early on in the game because they were concentrating too much on the other interesting bits. Deus Ex it felt a bit rushed in that respect. But the rest of the game is brilliant. I love the world of it, and I'm hoping they fix some of those problems. And I'm quite interested to see what they do with it, considering it's a slightly later on prequel to a game that they, as the audience has mentioned to it previously, might now catch up on very shortly.
My favourite bit of Deus Ex was the mission at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where it says, "There's hostages, go and rescue the hostages." And I was in this big office building, so I could explore it and look at stuff. And then I ran around, I stole loads of items. I'm going to rescue some hostages. I'll definitely need this cake. Take it out of my co-worker's desk and put it in my pocket.
Typical RPG thinking,
yeah. So I did all that, and I was like, yeah, cool, it's given me all this stuff to prepare me. Then I got to the thing, and they were like, oh yeah, all the hostages have died because you're pissed about.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're quite mean. So I quite like that. I think there's a nice artistic sense to the games as well.
Yeah.
They've got a nice aesthetic.
Yeah, definitely.
No. Sorry, I don't agree with that.
We don't like black and orange. No. What's wrong with it?
You've got a leather jacket, you should love it.
I should love it, but it's supposed to be a prequel, and all the technology looks nicer than the original.
That's because in the future, everything's restricted to VGA.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I didn't quite like the fact that they tried to modernise it while calling it a prequel.
Yeah. No, seriously, the later games, they're set so far in the future, everyone's become cyborgs, but they've not got good enough graphics cards to make it look good.
Is that actually...
So you're actually seeing it through their eyes, but he's a robot, therefore he's only got like an early robotic world rendering chip, whereas in these ones he's actually a human being, so you're seeing it properly.
Is that actually a thing?
No, I made that up.
I wish that's amazing.
That would work as a okay.
But with enough chutzpah, you can justify anything.
Hideo Kojima's been doing it for years.
Is that chutzpah or is that moxie? Ooh.
You're using words that the two people know about the least in the room.
If you're going to play Paranoia, you need to learn about chutzpah and moxie.
Okay.
They're very important. Shall I give you the game I'm looking forward to most next year?
Yeah.
We've had an RPG, tabletop. We've had a video game, computer game. And I'll give you a board game I'm looking forward to, which is Seafall.
Is it about falling seas?
It's about waterfalls,
Waterfalls, yeah.
It's about a bloke that goes to the edge of the world and falls off.
Oh.
And you roll a dice. If you roll a 7, you get a slice of plastic cake.
Okay.
Seafall is a new Legacy-style game.
Ooh.
Having enjoyed Risk Legacy and Pandemic Legacy, I'm looking forward to this by the original creator of Risk Legacy.
Okay.
It's a legacy game wherein the choices you make and the things you do in the game will impact, and you'll have a campaign style, which I've already said why I like that. But this one features naval exploration, piracy, world building, trade, all those kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the feel from what I've seen and the things I've listened to is kind of that era of going off and exploring the Caribbean and not having any idea what you're going to find.
Yeah.
That sounds like the text-based adventure you were talking about, but in a board game.
Yes! It's got lots and lots of shiny things. I'm very much looking forward to it. Looks like it could be fun. It was due at this year and has slipped. But hopefully in order to make it even more awesome.
I do like pirates.
Yeah, they are fun to play. I do like a good boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have very much enjoyed hoisting mainsails.
Yes.
Ooh, do you get to hoist sails?
Yes, hoist. We were talking about. Oh no, it's foisting.
Hoisting, yeah.
Hoisting,
Well, I figured it was sails that are on fire.
Is it only sails that get hoisted?
You don't hoist people.
Hoist,
that sounds
hoist flags?
painful.
Do you hoist flags?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You hoist the
Yeah,
flag
hoist the flag, see?
on a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or on a pole outside a school.
Is it only cloth? So only things made of cloth that are hoisted.
People aren't made of cloth.
People are made of cloth.
Well, I didn't think you could hoist people anyway.
You can hoist people. You can hook them up and hoist them up.
Well, you could do that with a side of ham, but is it?
Well, no,
technically-
ham, you hook it up.
Yeah.
There, that's true.
Or hang it up.
If you hoist a person, do they then flutter in the breeze? Is it? It sounds painful. Surely you're hanging them.
Depends on the
Hanging
breeze.
them.
Depends on the
hanging
person.
them. If you're
From the neck.
doing it from the neck technically.
It's probably to lift with ropes.
Yes.
Don't hold me to it, but
Oh, excellent.
So if we lift something with ropes, we are hoisting it. So we could hoist a person with ropes.
Now,
I reckon
I'm going
you
to tell
could
the
hoist
audience that
Colin.
Brian is checking Google because I don't want him seeing cleverer than the rest of us who can't figure anything out.
No, that's true.
I would like to say that Rob is right.
Yes,
I know this from my own knowledge and not from looking on the internet.
At which point, I have hoisted a bag of flour before.
Bag of flour?
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever hoisted, Aaron?
I don't think I've ever hoisted anything in my life.
You're not man. You've never lived.
I've never wanted more things above my head than already are.
Do we think it's been a good year for games?
Yeah, well, obviously not video games, clearly by are. Yeah, it was good, but this is shit, this is shit, and this is shit.
It's getting better, though, compared to when the X-Bone and the Piss Poor first came out. Just had drizzle, and sap.
can I just interrupt to say, given that I host the board games, that stack has probably trebled in the course of this year.
Yes, so let's drop video games and go to board games.
Yes.
Board games have clearly been amazing this year because we've
Yes.
bought an absolute ton of them.
They are.
And by we, I mean Brian and our host.
Who apparently have more money than sense, or girlfriends that don't pay attention to their bank balances.
I've just come to my senses. Colin's not allowed to play with anything I buy.
I bought Aaron a board game just yesterday.
Oh, what did you buy him?
I bought him My Village.
You bought him your village?
Yeah.
The place where you live in the country.
No, it's
Enjoy, do what you like to the villages.
Who bought Watson and Holmes? Because it's still sealed.
James bought me that. So, to sum up, this year I've learned that to hoist something means to lift with ropes.
Yep.
Well, actually, the hoist is the device. I suppose as a verb, yeah, it would be to use a hoist, which is some kind of dangling thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I learnt this year. What did you learn this year?
I've learned about word pedantry.
Yeah, word pedantry, cool.
And that big games that can take entire days aren't necessarily as enticing for the first 4 hours as you hope they are.
Yeah,
But are then quite fun if you don't give them a chance.
yes. Delayed gratification, you've learned.
And I've
Like
learned...
Sting.
Yes.
I should play Tantric Twilight Imperium.
And I've learned Brian really doesn't like me going me, which he will have to listen back to when editing.
Yeah, well, because you're not checking your privilege, Colin.
I've also learned that phrase.
Yes, Colin didn't know what check privilege was, which was why he was such an unreconstructed, misogynistic pig.
I didn't know what it meant either, don't worry.
So, from the Critical Twits, we wish you all a happy new year. We hope you've had a fantastic year. If you've got any particular video games, board games, or RPGs that you particularly really loved this year and want to talk to us about, messages, comment on the SoundCloudy thing, or YouTube when I eventually get it up there. We will see you in the new year. I've been Aaron Ravinsky.
I've been Brian Ennis.
And I've been Con Howard.